The investor who looks patient, but constantly changes positions. Some investors say they are long-term. They talk about discipline. They quote strategy. They criticize short-term traders. Yet quietly, they keep adjusting positions. Selling. Rotating. Rebalancing. A little. Chasing. Slight improvements. They appear patient. But behavior tells a different story. 1. The identity of a long-term investor. Many investors adopt the identity of being long-term because it signals rationality, intelligence, emotional control. Behavioral research shows people protect identity strongly. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman explains that much of our decision-making is driven by fast, emotional reactions, even when we believe we are being analytical, thinking fast and slow. So what happens? The investor believes they are patient. But their System 1 reaction still drives subtle behavior changes. 2. Overconfidence disguised as optimization. Research by Brad Barber and Terence O'Dean found that investors who trade more frequently tend to earn lower returns. Why? Overconfidence. Illusion of control. Belief in superior timing ability. The patient investor who constantly tweaks positions often frames it as, "I'm optimizing." But statistically, frequent adjustments often reduce performance. 3. The illusion of strategic activity. Humans are uncomfortable with inaction. This relates to action bias, the preference for doing something rather than nothing. Even when strategy says, hold, emotion says, adjust. So the investor rotates sectors, takes partial profits, re-enters slightly lower, moves to the next opportunity. It feels strategic, but it often reflects discomfort with uncertainty. 4. Emotional microreactivity. Constant small changes are rarely about fundamentals. They are often reactions to news headlines, short-term volatility, social media narratives, recent price movements. This connects to availability bias, overweighting recent information. The investor says, "My thesis changed." In reality, their emotional state changed. 5. The dopamine factor. Neuroscience shows that novelty and decision-making stimulate dopamine. Long-term holding produces less stimulation. Position changes create engagement, control feeling, psychological reward. So the investor unconsciously creates activity to maintain engagement. They call it discipline. But behavior reveals stimulation seeking. 6. Strategy drift. One of the biggest risks is gradual drift. The investor doesn't panic sell. Instead, they slightly reduce exposure, slightly increase another asset, slowly shift allocation. Over time, the portfolio no longer reflects the original long-term thesis. This is not visible impatience. It is slow motion and consistency. 7. The core psychological conflict. The real conflict is between identity, I am patient, emotion, this uncertainty is uncomfortable. To reduce cognitive dissonance, a concept introduced by Leon Festinger, the investor reframes impulsive shifts as rational improvements. The narrative protects the ego. Key difference. 1. Truly patient investor changes only when thesis breaks, predefined rules, comfortable with boredom, strategy first. 2. Looks patient investor changes when discomfort rises, reactive adjustments, seeks subtle stimulation, emotion first. Final insight. Patience is not measured by how long you intend to hold. It is measured by how stable your behavior remains under discomfort. The investor who constantly changes positions may believe they are disciplined. But discipline is not in the label. It is in behavioral consistency. And in markets, consistency is rare, because uncertainty is uncomfortable.